Hey, it's time to Dish with D. That's me. Thank you for clicking on this video, making yourself a priority. I'm Denise. It is Saturday. And Saturday on this channel is my weekly weigh-in and the Weight Watchers meeting topic of the week. Weight Watchers, if you don't know, on their meetings always has a weight loss topic. And it's usually for the whole week. I usually go over it. I used to be a meetings attender. I currently am not, only because they've moved a little bit further down. If one would open closer, I would consider going back. But I am a WW Lifetime member, 10 pounds over a goal, if you didn't know that. Technically, I'm on maintenance, but I'm trying to get those 10 nasty pounds off. So welcome to my channel. And if you are new here, another very special welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for clicking back. This is a lot of yours favorite video. I can understand why. Besides checking on somebody's weight, it's an interesting topic that Weight Watchers puts out. And a lot of you can't attend meetings or not able to attend meetings. And some of you, which I've been told, do virtual, but they don't really handle a lot of the meeting topic. It's mostly chit chat amongst yourselves and with the leader and over different things. So it's that they don't, I've heard like, oh, they cover it for 2 seconds. Sorry, early morning here. So I'm happy to do that for them. So, how did your week go, Dee? My week was decent. Was it great? No. It was decent, yes. I also did attend a party last night. Does that affect your weight? I would say maybe, possibly. It was a late party. We didn't get there till 6:30. Do I normally eat that late? I don't. Now, could I have not eaten at the party? I could have. I could have said, could have eaten but you know what? It was a party. I actually did really good at the party. They had these colossal shrimp that were just like ridiculously big. So I had a few of those. I had some fruit. I did have one of those little mini soft pretzels because I saw soft pretzels, Philly girl in the house. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have it. It was one of the little ones. So I had that. They had these little individual little crab cakes. I had that. I meant to take a picture, and when you're out with family and stuff you haven't seen, I totally forgot. And I had that. Oh, I did split a cranberry bar with Steve and a chocolate covered strawberry with Steve. So I did have that. And I did have an adult beverage. I did. They had this new hard cider that looked amazing. And it was delicious. I have no idea what the points were. I had one and I thought to myself, So when I got on the scale, I'm happy to report that I was the same. So could I have been maybe down today? Possibly. But you know what? Being the same after eating at a bar and having an adult beverage was quite the win. So I was excited. So kudos to me. All right. We got the weigh-in done. What is the meeting topic at hand? How to handle changes in your routine. Beth James O'Keefe. She's the one that does it. How to handle changes in your routine. That technically was a change, wasn't it? Because I don't normally go out on. Very rarely do we ever have anything that happens on Friday nights. Very rare. So that was a rare party. So that was a change. And how did I handle it? I thought I handled it well. I mean, like I said, I could have just stuck to my guns and said, I am just eating here. I am just going to go to the party and have a thing of water. I could have done that. It just was like, it was a party. And there was roast beef sandwiches. There was hot roast pork. They're not my favorite anyway, honestly. And there was hoagies. I could have had all that. But the shrimp were magnificent. They're like little lobster tails. They were just delicious. If you're wondering you'll stay on track during the weekend at a friend's house, your kid's school break, or a busy time at work, hear this. You don't have to stick to the unusual script. Pencil in rehearsals beforehand so you know what to do with the moment. Try this. I don't believe it. Try this. Number 1, roll camera. Pretend you're watching a day during this time play out like a movie. What's going on? Who is there? How is this different from your usual experience? And I did think about that. I'm thinking to myself, there's going to be adult beverages there. Do you really want one? And I said to myself, I want something different. And this was a hard cider. in the flavor of hibiscus. If it wasn't hibiscus, I probably wouldn't have had it. And I said it to myself, it's something you can get any other time than, that I would just stick with either diet soda or water. But it was the hibiscus. It was I only had one. That's a win. So definitely I thought of, because this family is always good with liquor. So I kind of knew there was going to be quite the liquor choices. So I had to go in there thinking that. And I thought, you know what, if there's something there, and if not, and it was meant to be. Me and hibiscus are best buds. So it's like, hibiscus. So it's slightly good for you, right? Yeah. Notice the hiccups. List anything that you might get in the way of your routine you rely on. My friend has a lot of sweets and other foods at her house I don't normally buy. Well, I knew there'd be dessert. I knew that. I knew there'd be dessert. So my plan was to pick out one or two things and split it. And that's exactly what I did. And I was totally satisfied with that. Because I feel like if you don't have it, then you want it more. When you plan on having a taste of it, it just kind of made the evening flow much nicer. That's just how I do things. I mean, there are people out there that say, oh, you don't need the dessert. So you don't need it. We never need it. It's not about needing it. It's about wanting it and how to, like I said, allowing yourself permission to have it. But like I said, in a controlled way. I had it. I passed it on. If I kept it in front of me, I probably would have finished it. But when I passed it on, he scarfed it right up. It was a win. So definitely helps me. 3, find realistic solutions. Consider what things you could do to stay engaged with your journey. I could bring a lower point dessert or ask her to store snacks out of sight. It is hard. It's a hard thing. Store this out of sight. Is that like, it depends on who the person is. If it's somebody you're close to, you could say that. But if it's like, I wouldn't have felt comfortable saying that girl last night, we're not that close, that I would sit there and say, hey, can you put that on a different table? It's almost like I tend to tell the people that I'm closest to next to me to keep it down at their end of the table. That usually helps me than rather saying it to somebody that I'm really not that close with. Because you don't want people to go, oh, okay, we've got ourselves you have to be cognizant of who you're talking to and who is in your surrounding circle. 4, reshoot the scene. Use the answers from step 2 and 3 to make a detailed action plan to support your goals. Be specific about what, where, and how, and when. 5, think ahead. Fast forward after the credits roll. How will you get back to your regular routine? Write things down you'll do and when. The bottom line, we have a routine, especially when you're home, of how you do things. And when you're not home, things will be different. Can they be the same out of your home? They could be generally the same, but if you can't control the food, you have to control yourself. That's a hard one because we have to sit there. We have to live with this food. The world's not going to change because we're on a weight loss journey. We're on Weight Watchers or whatever plan you have. And the world's going to notice that and say, oh, there's Denise. I got to make sure I have a green salad because she's coming. No, the world doesn't work that way. The world works that the food is there. You just have to make the best choices of what's there. Sometimes it's hard. It's always, my best advice is don't hang where the food is. That's always a problem because when you're sitting there and it's right there, you tend to stare at it. Yep. You tend to sit there and stare at it. If you're say you're at a table where they put bowls of chips down and you can't handle that, you could, as long as you're with the people that are at that table don't mind, you can move them down towards them or down to another table. Do things that help you, but don't do things that will disrupt the party. Because FYI, it's not about you. It's about the party. And it's their occasion. It's their event. And it's not, the world does not revolve around you and your weight loss journey. I wish it did. It doesn't. And that's a good lesson because that's lessons we have to practice. We have to practice, my favorite word, discipline. Because we never disciplined ourselves with food. We ate as much as we want when we wanted and nobody said boo. Was that the right thing to do? Obviously, we're here. It wasn't. So you have to learn, and ask for help for the people closest to you if you need it. Don't fear the asking them. And sometimes that's the stronger thing to do, is to ask for help rather than sit there and suffer in silence. And some of us are worse case than others. There's some of us that can't even be in the general vicinity of food. We will just, we can't do controlled discipline. We're not ready for that. I think we have to work up to the controlled discipline. Would I avoid parties? No. Sometimes, big thing is not going to that party starving. And I did not go to that party starving last night. I had a big ass salad later in the day because I knew if I went in there famished, it would not. It doesn't work. You can't sit there and save all your calories for one meal. It doesn't work, because then that's when you just go like, because you have to eat, and then once you start eating, it's like a heroin addict with heroin. It's like you're starving, and that's not a lifestyle. That's a diet, because we starve ourselves all day to eat. We don't. Some days are higher point days than others. That's why we have weeklies. That's why we have rollovers. Don't starve. That is huge, because I know a lot of you do that. Oh, I'm not going to eat all day. No. I'm going to eat eggs for breakfast, and then I'm just going to, save the rest of my points and calories for dinner. Yeah. Okay. Let me know how that works out, because it never does. Because you're always overeating. And then like I said, our bodies don't digest big meals at once properly. It's just, you're better off, like I said, having, your breakfast, a small lunch, and then your dinner. And then sometimes, like I said, eat until you're satisfied. When you're satisfied, stop. It's hard because your mind still wants to eat it. But, listen to your tummy. Listen to your tummy when you're like going, oh, I'm kind of satisfied, but I really want to finish that, because you want that taste, that sensation. Like, oh, I just want to keep feeling that till my plate's gone. Now, get a box it up, and enjoy it the next day. Yeah, these are little things we have to practice. We have to learn a new normal, a new routine. The routine of, we don't have to finish our plates. A routine of, yes, we could give ourselves treats occasionally. Yes, we could fit in desserts. Yes, it's a routine. Like, I think some of us are in that, I can't eat that. I shouldn't eat that. I'm on Weight Watchers. I shouldn't eat that. You could eat anything as long as you have the points and plan for it, and eat it in a smaller way. It's all about portions. Like, did I need that cranberry bar? No. But I had a piece versus I would have probably had, old Denise would have had 2 or 3 of those cranberry bars herself. Oh, yeah. Especially if there was enough of them there, she definitely would have went for a few. She would have went for another pretzel. She would have had that roast beef or roast pork sandwich. She would have. She would have been more, maybe the hoagie. But she didn't. I would have never put fruit on my plate. Never. Ever. My parents are rolling over in their graves that their daughter's eating fruit, because I did not eat fruit. But you know what? They had beautiful melons and big, gigantic strawberries, and fruit is filling. It's fibrous. It's good. So fill up on those kinds of things. Let's dive a little deeper. We love routines, but truth is, a routine isn't going to work every single day. It's not, because life isn't the same every single day. Trying to force your ordinary way of doing things during extraordinary times only sets you up for frustration, maybe even setbacks, and especially binge eating, because you got to be prepared for the unexpected. You can't sit there and have it all laid out and think that's how life's going to work. It's not. It's about being flexible, and we have flexible points. They used to call them flex points. We call them weeklies, but they're flexible. That's why we have them. If there's a need arises, I'm not sitting there to say, well, use it as an excuse to overeat. Well, I got 38 weeklies. No, but you have enough to sit there and have that little bit extra, or not knowing how it's prepared. You have points to pull from that. And that's what it's about, being flexible. It's about not saying no, saying yes, and doing it in a controlled way. We're in uncharted territories for some of us, and we have to learn a new routine. We have to learn to be flexible. I mean, it's easy to sit there and be at our house 7 days a week, preparing our own food and being successful. But the real success comes from going out into the wild and maneuvering it out there. And you definitely should be, going out there and exploring but always going in there with calm confidence. It's kind of like Caesar from, Russ the Dog Whisperer. He said that about when you're dealing with your dog, calm confidence. And that's how I deal with food. Breathe. It's calm. Don't get so excited when you see something there like, oh, I haven't had that in like 6 months. I don't want to hear you haven't had that in 6 months, because there's no reason you should be not having that in 6 months, because you will go ape shit on that. You will. Calm confidence. Look over everything. Decide what you want to put on your plate. Sit down. Take your time. Have conversations. Eat slower. Sip whatever beverage you choose. And enjoy your food. Instead of making adjustments at work with your new day-to-day, maybe that means going for a walk if there's no stationary bike where you're staying, or ordering from a healthy meal delivery service, or planning a lower point takeout meals for a week of huge projects and office overtime. Sometimes you can't control disruptions of routines. Sometimes you don't want to, nor should you have to, but you can plan ahead to pivot. Like with an actual detour, you'll still get your destination, staying active, eating healthy foods, doing whatever else helps you be successful on this journey. It may just look a little different than your normal routine. Sometimes posting in the Facebook group if you're somewhere and you need somebody to build up your confidence. I've had people, I'm going out to a Mexican restaurant. What should I get? People ask advice. Ask advice. Don't sit there and think we know it all, because we don't. But maybe somebody else can give you that little tip that you might need. 3 fast facts. When your environment changes, your behavior often changes too. And your mindset. And it's always good to put yourself in different situations, like it's telling you, because it's going to come up and you need to have a game plan to attack that. 2, you can adjust your approach to fit new environments so it supports your goals. 3, staying engaged on a journey, even at a modified way, can keep you on track until things get back to normal. And basically, to me, that's saying sometimes we could pause, take a deep breath, and not be in weight loss mode. Maybe we could sit there and be in maintenance mode. If you have weeks where you have weddings and parties and this and that, sometimes it's okay to be in maintenance mode and not worry about losing all the time. Sometimes we're so super obsessed about losing. Sometimes maintaining is a win. Even for me, like, I feel like, I try not to get over focused on the fact I want to lose 10. I just be happy that I'm here, where I'm at versus where I was. And sometimes this maintaining this is a win, and not always worrying about getting that, but weight lose. It's not always about weight loss. It's about making better choices. And the scale isn't always going to agree with that, but you made the best choice out of that situation. You made the best choice, and be proud of that fact. I'm proud of that fact that I didn't have that roast beef or roast pork or hoagie last night. I'm majorly proud that that's a huge win for me. That is what I ate, and I'm like, that's huge. And celebrate that success. Don't always look for, you didn't have, the scale. Ooh, did it affect my weight loss this week? Ooh, I don't really care, because I had the best week I could. And I know that. And I had a really good meal last night, and I know that. Oh, you shouldn't have had that adult beverage. If that's what you got out of this, then you need to watch a few older videos, because that, my friends, is a huge win. To have one adult cocktail, I probably could have fit in 2, and I said, but that to me and that's what you do at a party. Do I do that every day? Heck no, I can't. The last adult cocktail I had was Mother's Day. Went to the winery, and the time before that was the cruise. So I don't indulge in adult beverages. And like I said, if I'm going to go somewhere, I always try to allow at least 1. The cruise, it was 2 a day, because we have the booze package. Some days I had 3. It happens, but I didn't beat myself up for it. I didn't sit there and be like, oh. No, you can't beat yourself up, because that just pushes you further and further back. We want to grow, and growing knows that things like this come up. Routines change. That's so normal. This is a normal topic. And what is our monthly theme? Dealing with routine disruptions, because it happens, and it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see what the rest of the topics are, because it's throwing something. We have to be able to land on our feet. And how do we do that? With interesting topics and some, opinions about this may vary, but I try to give a very realistic approach how I live day in and day out. I don't try to overthink anything. I'm on a lifestyle. I am not on a diet. I don't sit there and overthink things because, oh, the scale, the scale, the scale. I don't really super focus on the scale. I super focus on how I feel and how, my clothes fit more than I do that number on the scale. And that took me a long time to get there. So that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this week's Weight Watchers topic of the week. I am happy to bring it to you. If you enjoy these, let me know with a big old thumbs up. Comment below how your week went. Let me know the good, the bad, the ugly. And let me know what you think on the change of routine. How do you handle changes in routine? You have to go with the flow. Ebb and flow. We have to go. If we sit there and get too focused on that routine, we're in diets. And I don't know about you, but I'm not on a diet. I used to be, but I haven't been on for quite a while. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will dish with you another day. Tomorrow we do have a prep. We have a dinner. We have 2 cottage buns. I made a monkey bread and maybe my personal favorite, the pizza one. If you're familiar with lard bread, Peter says it's kind of like lard bread. I don't know. I don't know what lard bread is. It's just basically cured meats and cheeses in a bread dough, and you just bake it. It's kind of like stromboli. This is kind of like a cool version of, in my opinion, a cool version of stromboli. So that'll be out tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, my lovelies.